Hey skaters, it's Stace here from Next Edge Tutorials, and this lesson I'm going to be showing you how to add more power to those pivots. So if you're anything like me, I personally love pivots. I think that they are absolutely beautiful, and personally, I like the way they feel whenever I skate them out. Now, when I see them sometimes, I see skaters trying to have this big, beautiful pivot, but they wind up doing two pumps because they just don't feel that power in them. And they kind of look like this. They go for it, and they don't make it all the way around, and then they wind up having to do another pump to get around. Whereas today, we are going to be learning how to add that power into the pivot. That way they look like this. Push around. And it's powerful, it's big, and it's great to put in programs. I always think it enhances the program or it enhances a step sequence. I just think it's beautiful and elegant. So now we're gonna look at some of the mistakes why you might not have that big, beautiful power pivot. So the first thing is you start with your feet too wide to begin with. They're so wide and it's hard to get a strong push around. See, I'm struggling a bit. The second is your shoulders don't work. Our shoulders can help us out. So you start here, and especially if you already have wide feet, it's hard to get anything moving on that pivot. So those are my two mistakes that I tend to see. The feet start too wide, and then the shoulders don't help you. So I want you to take your feet, the right toe is gonna be in the ice. I want you to take that left foot, and I want you to start closer to your body here. That way you can pump and accelerate. So we're not gonna even focus on the upper body. We're just gonna focus on that free leg coming around. So we're gonna go press around. It's a pump. You have to remember it's a pump. So we're gonna take that left foot and I'm gonna think about pumping. Pump. Ball of the foot and press around. Let's try the other leg. So starting here, I'm gonna think ball of the foot in that right leg now, bending, pushing, and extending that free leg. When I push back here, I'm gonna show you right now. Start with bent. I try to press and extend and feel this extension. It's not at the start because I wanna start close together so I feel that pump first, extension, and then draw the foot in. So that's what's happening with the feet. Now the upper body, you can add more power with your upper body. So if I'm pushing back with my left foot, I might start with a little twist to help me release it a bit more. And then you can go the other way, right arm in front, pressing around and pressing around. And you can use your arms to kind of help guide you with that. So here, it's kind of like pushing away from your body, pushing away from your body. It's not a fast movement. It's like you almost want to think about if you were in the water and you're not gliding on top of the water, your hand is kind of in the water. It's kind of hard to move through. So it's not super duper fast. You don't want to think about on top of the water. You want to think about pressing into the water with that hand, pressing into the water with that hand. And it also already gives an elegant look and something cool when you use your arm a bit more. So before we move on, I want you to click on the link below in the description for your free PDF guide on the 5 exercises every skater needs. I personally feel like these 5 exercises, it doesn't matter what level you are, you should be doing them, because sometimes I see skaters get on the ice and I'm not sure how that's helping you, but these 5 exercises can take you to a whole new level. So give a click and then start doing them. Okay, so we've covered back inside. Now let's look at forward inside, and it's going to be the same concept. You want to make sure that you start close together with the feet, bending, and then pushing away, and then drawing it back in. And then the other side, close together, push away, and then draw back. And you can use the upper body here, that twisting and around, and then twisting and around. So we want to make sure when we do the forwards that we don't start too wide, because it's really hard to gain power and speed in that pivot when it's wide. So those are two things that I really want you to focus on when doing the back inside and the forward inside pivots. Now you might be wondering, okay, are we gonna do back outside? That is a whole entire different lesson, so stay tuned for that. So now that we know what's happening with our lower half of the body and our upper half of the body, I'm gonna combine the two for a nice little sequence that you might wanna use in your program or in just your next practice session. So now I'm going to show you the sequence that I have made up, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I don't have any power in it. So I'm going to push, spread eagle, pivot, step, pull up, so there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I'm just gliding along, but it doesn't look exciting. I'm gonna show you how those simple steps that we're doing can make your program look amazing by just adding power to those two pivots. So now we're gonna imagine that I'm coming out of a beautiful spin, and we're going to just add more power to those pivots. I'm gonna come out of the spin, I'm gonna push forward, here's that spread eagle, more power to that pivot, then I might go step, step, and then power to that pivot again. As you can see, I didn't change up my steps. I just added more power to those pivots, and it probably changed the whole entire look of that little bit of a sequence there. And when you're in a program, after you come out of a beautiful spin, you want to keep that beautiful skating throughout, because that might be your breathing section before you go to another element. So we are keeping that beautiful skating going while we use that as a breathing section. So now that I have convinced you that adding more power to those pivots really make an overall difference, I'm gonna give you a little exercise that you can practice both right and left. So we're gonna start off with the back inside pivots. So I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go press around, then pull up. Toe pick in the ice, press around, and pull up. And you can use different arms because I'm still focusing on those shoulders. And you can just go back and forth between one leg and the other leg. Now, for the forward pivots, it's going to be exactly the same. So I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna go pivot one, and then you can pause, and then the other way. Pivot, and then pull up. Pivot, and pull up. Pivot, and pull up. With the pivots, the more you do, the better you're gonna get, and by you practicing them, you are gonna make them look better than even mine. So now that you have those two pivot exercises, I want you to practice them, focusing on the feet staying close together, using that nice pump to accelerate, using your shoulders so we don't feel stuck, because that is something that I see. Everyone wants to have that beautiful, powerful pivot, but they're getting stuck in the shoulders. Nothing's happening, and they're just rotating around, and it's quite slow. So add those shoulders, add arms. You can make something so simple as a pivot look absolutely stunning on the ice. That's why it's one of my favorite things to look at when I watch skaters. It looks amazing. Thanks for watching Next Edge Tutorials. Hopefully you got something out of this lesson, and happy skating.